electric too. Can I welcome? Hello, rock and roll. Welcome back to Jay's Rock and Roll Stories. I'm your host, Jay. We're talking about Oasis, man. Oasis, getting back together. The boys, the brothers. Wow. You gonna go? I'm not gonna go. It's like $1,000 freaking dollars or more to go. Anyway, so, yeah, I just picked up this book on Oasis. Oasis, called Getting High, by, the author is Paolo Hewitt. Paolo Hewitt, if you don't know who that is, he was the, he wrote a lot of books. He did the liner notes for the band The Style Council, Paul Weller. I read a book by him. He wrote a book about Steve Marriott, lead singer of Small Faces, Humble Pie. That was a great freaking book. So I just started this book, and I'm just thinking about Oasis and their mom, the boys, the brothers, Neil and Liam. Their mother was like just fucking from poverty, man. Like, she lived in Ireland, and it was like fucking pray and starve. That's what you do. You go to church and you go home, and there's nothing, in a house full of like 10 kids or something like that. She would go to school. It's nice. She seems like a nice lady, nice kid. She really likes to read. She found like an escape in reading, and then walking back home, her fucking stomach's cramping because he's so freaking hungry. Poor kid, We got old. She got older, and she would go to England for work. So she would stay with some family in England. I'm just rambling here. Just listen to that song, She's Electric. Fantastic fucking song. And if you've never heard that song by Oasis, She's Electric, listen to it. It's nice because the chorus has some major seventh chords in there, and the song ends on a very Beatlesque like little ditty. You got to hear it. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that album is great. It also has the Champagne Supernova song on the album. This podcast stuff. When I was a kid growing up, I was really into that whole the Britpop. You choose a battle side, either Blur or Oasis, and I was Blur was my band. I was like, no, Oasis was so arrogant, and they're assholes, and I just found Blur to be much more artistically expressive. But that's the thing, is Blur had songs that were just really all over the place, and Oasis more of harnessed, more of like, let's fucking like do coke and play rock and roll music. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, for the pedestrian, random everyday person, you're going to go with Oasis because you hear it on the radio, like, oh, this sounds like rock and roll. You hear a random song by Blur, and you're like, oh, wow, these guys are very British, So I think that's why you could say who won, Oasis or Blur, with the king of the Britpop. I would say Oasis won. Why? There's a documentary about that too, and it talks about how even Blur suggests that, like, yeah, they had more of a harness on like their audience. Like, they knew what they were doing. It was more, I guess you can say harnessed or like perfected, where just this is the sound. I guess that's why I liked Blur more, because it was just they really covered all kinds of grounds, any kind of genre they did, But Oasis was more of just rock and roll. And when I was a teenager, when all this was, the Britpop thing was happening, and I really didn't appreciate these guys saying we're better than the Beatles, and I was just listening to Oasis now, and I get it. I get why. I mean, okay, your head's full of fucking cocaine and you're drunk and you're in the studio putting together the Champagne Supernova or She's Electric, or Roll With It. Yeah, we're better than the Beatles. I get it. I get what the fuck they're talking about. I guess the tour is going to be 2025 all over the world. The prices are outrageous. I don't know. Wouldn't that be cool to go? I'll watch it from home, right? No, I'm not going to go to that, but I don't even know if they're coming over here. Anyway, a little intro to Oasis. So, what's their story? Well, the book starts off a lot about Noel's early life. So Peggy, that's their mom. The father, forgot his stupid name. Peggy is the mom. Noel is the second son, and the first son is Paul. So Noel, he's like, for some reason, he's like picked on the most by the dad. The father is such an asshole. I don't even fucking remember his name. Who cares? He's a dick. So there's a story in the book where Noel is sitting with his dad. He's like 6. And so the father is like smoking on a cigarette with a filterless cigarette, right? And I don't know if you've ever smoked before, but with a filterless cigarette, you get little pieces of tobacco in your mouth, you know? And you got to kind of spit it out. So he's like spitting, like taking a little drag, spitting out tobacco. And Noel goes like, Dad, why are you doing that? And he's like, well, that's tobacco I got to spit out. He's like, well, then why don't you just smoke the filtered tobaccos, then you won't have to spit out tobacco. And then his dad's like, oh, so you know a lot about smoking, huh? Oh, you're smoking? Oh, hey, the boy's smoking, you know? The mom's like, no, he's not smoking. What the hell are you talking about? He's 6 years old. Look at his fingers. His fingers are... Well, he's probably wearing gloves. He wears gloves when he smokes cigarettes. And then he gets up and storms out. And then Noel just stands up and looks at his mom and goes up the stairs to his room like, great, another night with Dad. That was fun. So he's kind of an asshole, and that never ends. There is one time when the father, well, he buys a guitar. He doesn't buy it for Noel, but he buys a guitar and he can't fucking do anything with it. And so Noel takes a guitar. Anyway, so we'll get to that. So Noel is, he goes to school and he's kind of like, he kind of has friends who are like thieves. They really enjoy sniffing glue. They get high. Like this is like from age, prepubescent, like early teenage years. They get high from sniffing glue. They do. They break into people's houses and steal shit. But like the glue is like, he was talking about how the glue is great. He's like, it's like feels good. You laugh. You have a good time. He got a couple run-ins. He gets arrested a couple times. He gets sent to like a juvie little place. One time he and his buddies stole a fucking milk truck. Like the milkman is doing the rounds, and then their plan was the milkman is gonna get out of his truck on a Monday, buy a newspaper, go into this public bathroom, have a shit, look at his newspaper. We're gonna go in there, get his money, blah blah blah. But anyway, they get so high on the fucking glue that they just fuck it up, and they're just like, let's just steal the truck. And then, they're driving the truck, and then the glue wears off, and they're like, oh, we just stole a fucking truck with milk. What the fuck do we do? So they try to escape, but they're too fucking high, and they can't run away, and the cops grab them. And there's another funny story when Noel was in middle school, and because his name is Noel Gallagher, and there was another kid named David Gallagher, and I guess their papers got mixed up. And Noel Gallagher, he would be, I'm not going to say the dummies, but I'm going to say in like the rascals, right? The class with the rascals, right? And then this David Gallagher kid was in like the smart kids and Noel talks about how they had glasses and briefcases, and so they got in the wrong classes. So Noel was going to class with these smarty pants kids with, hello teacher, hi, with their hands raised up and with the glasses and the briefcases. And you say, who the fuck are these kids? And then this David Gallagher kid is going with the class with the rascals, right, and getting his ass kicked. So, and then this David Gallagher's parents were coming and complaining for like, well, how come he's always getting beaten up? And they didn't figure it out for a whole year. So for a whole freaking year that they were swapped, like, Noel has no idea what the fuck the class is talking about. I thought that was kind of funny. That's like those movies, you know. It's like that's like a stupid comedy movie for like the 90s or something. I like that. Anyway, Noel Gallagher, as I said, his father buys a guitar. Can't play it. He didn't buy it for Noel. He just bought it because, you know, can't do shit with it. And Noel took it. So he starts strumming on the guitar. The father's an asshole. The father beats up the mom, beats the shit out of Noel. The mom gets a job. The mom gets a job at like a cookie factory or some shit like that, and you know she's busting her ass, and you know the father's, you know, borrowing money from the mom, and she has to leave the kids at home, like because she goes to work at like 4 a.m. and is done at like at 9, and then comes back and the kids go to school. So she's calling the house on breaks, like, are you guys okay? Yeah, we're just watching TV. Okay, fine. Jesus Christ. And she'll like tell the father, like, hey, listen, I gotta go to work at 4. Can you just be there? Like, can you be there? Because he's always going out and like sleeping with other ladies and stuff. Anyway, so fast forward. So Noel gets like what a lot of the book is just talking about Noel. It jumps around. It's an interesting book. It's the Paulo Hewitt book, and this would make a good like a bio on Oasis if this were a film, because it jumps from, you know, Noel as a kid with his poor mom and his dad as an asshole. Then it'll jump around to Oasis in 1996 when, you know, he's writing all the songs and his brother Liam is just like fucking around. I mean, right now in the book it's Liam just doesn't really, I don't know. He's like, he has a lot of swagger, you know. He has a lot of clout, and he's got a lot of persona. He has a lot of you know, stage presence, you know. He'll stare at the audience like, what do you got? Come on, let's do it. So it's like energy. Noel Gallagher, this is around high school years where he gets into music. He likes punk rock. He gets into like the skinhead look. Well, when we say skinhead, and that's a tricky word, because in the United States, when you say skinhead, it means like Nazi, like shaved head, like beat up, you know, gay people and immigrants. Well, the original word skinhead is just like working class kids in England who really like Jamaican music and dance to ska, and like, you know, came from working class families. Had nothing to do with racism. So you got to put that in perspective. So Noel's into that scene. His brother Paul, he's kind of more into a mod scene. The book talks about how Noel Gallagher, he started playing what's called Gaelic football, like football as in soccer, American, right? Gaelic football. It's like a mixture of rugby and soccer. And there was a location in Manchester. This is all happening in Manchester, England, where it was like no holds barred, man. It was just knocking the shit out of everyone, just having a good time, and it was kind of cool. And he meets some buddies who are like these hippies who just kind of hang out on the hill and smoke pot and play guitar. And he brings his guitar, like I play guitar too, and so he meets a buddy named Flo who teaches him how to play guitar. It also talks about when he was a kid, Noel Gallagher would go back to Ireland in the countryside and visit his mom's family, and this is where he really found that spiritual sound of music, you know, because he lived on a farm, and there's no running water. There's a well. You got to go outside and take a shit in the bathroom, like in the cement thing, and then, you know, they take him to the pub, and he'd play music with like locals, with traditional Irish music, and he talks about how, the family would sit around and just like talk shit to each other. Like, hey, remember that one time you fell out of the tree? That was so fucking, just like talking crap. And it just kind of opened him up as a person, versus when his father would just shut him down. You know what I mean? It's like the abuse of his father, and the whole time when, the dad would be home watching TV and the father, Noel was asking him questions and just trying to communicate, and okay, fine, the kid wants to watch cartoons. Fuck that, let me watch my TV. So the father doesn't communicate at all. So going back to finding music, this solidified foundation in Ireland is where he got like this, this roots of music. Finding, punk rock, ska, skinhead music, as I said before, don't forget. So it jumps around in Oasis. I always thought it was interesting that they would end their shows. They wouldn't do encores. They would end their shows with "I Am the Walrus." I always thought that was interesting. So there's a point in the book. Like this episode is going to jump around because the book jumps around. I'm just going to go with the flow, okay? There's this point in the book when the mom talks about how, not the mom talks about, but when she was in Ireland, when she was like suffering, she had this like vision, maybe? Like she had this idea. She could see a light, she could see a harmony, she could see something beautiful, spiritual about having kids and that they are bringing music. So let's fast forward a little bit to the late 80s. Noel Gallagher is playing guitar. He's getting better at it. He's obsessed with the Beatles. He's obsessed with the Rolling Stones. And he starts writing tunes. He starts writing his own songs. He has a friend, and they record together, but they usually get too stoned to really record quality stuff. And he gets a job as a roadie for the band, the Inspiral Carpets in Manchester. So we got to look at the music scene in the late 80s in London and Manchester. Was fascinating because you have this mixture of like early hip hop. You have like that house music, like electronic house music, and you also have these other bands that came from the inspiration of let's say the Smiths or the Jam. You have like the Stone Roses, you have the Inspiral Carpets, you have Happy Mondays, who are playing this sort of psychedelic music. And it's interesting because this is the late 80s. At the same time, a few years before, in LA, they had the Paisley Underground movement with, for example, like Rain Parade. What was the other one? I think when like the Bangles when they first began. So there's like this going back to like this early jangly psychedelic sound. It's very similar. I was listening to. I've never heard of I've heard of the Inspiral Carpets on paper and reading and shit, but I never listened to it. It's really good, a good band. So he was doing roadie work for the band, and he had this buddy that was a good drummer, and they would either before or after when the band does a show, they would jam. Noel would play guitar, the guy played drums. So he's getting his chops up, and at the same time, so this is getting closer to like 91. I didn't know this. Oasis already exists with Liam Gallagher on vocals and a couple other buddies, but that's Liam's band. And Noel says, "Hey, can I be in your band?" And that's where the band started. But I want to stick around a little bit for the late 80s, right before it started, right? And I want to talk about the drug scene for a second. So it's ecstasy that everyone's doing. So if you're not familiar with ecstasy, it's usually pill or powder form, and it just releases all of that dopamine so fast that it just kind of like it makes it, let's say it makes a shy guy really want to dance. Oh, I feel great, you know. So it's pretty pure at the time, and it's nothing but like good party drug. It's not adulterated or anything. It's pure. And so Noel gives it a shot. He goes down to the clubs, the Hacienda, and there's a couple other clubs where it's going to be, and there's places that are playing rock and roll, like U2. They're also playing hip hop. They're also playing house music. But it just people just having a great time, and you just feel a sense of well-being towards yourself and other people. So you're like, oh man, you're my best friend. Oh, you're my best friend. So Noel gives it a shot. When it comes to Liam, he's like, fuck that. I'm not going to go anywhere with someone saying, you're my fucking best friend. No, forget it. I thought that was kind of funny. Nope, I'm not doing it. And if I really think about his reaction about that, the book was talking about how when his mother Peggy was always getting abused by Thomas, the father, and Liam was the little one. So, and he was always with Peggy, hand in hand. So he saw all the fucking beatings. He saw when his own father beat the crap out of his mom. He saw when his own father beating the crap out of his own brother. So this guy, yeah, that's rattled his head a little bit, I'm sure. I just want to go back and talk about the band that Noel was the roadie for, the Inspiral Carpets. Really, really good band. I'm always excited when I find a band that I enjoy, and now I have like an entire discography to go through. Because I've just been listening to like a playlist on Spotify or whatever, but now I get to go through the entire thing. You know, great, fantastic music. Put that on. We haven't even got to the music of Oasis yet. I'm just saying, bam, right there, 1989. Give it a shot. Inspiral Carpets, I think it's fucking good stuff. Anyway, so 1991, Oasis. There's the beginning of the Gallagher brothers, all right? What about the other guys in the band? Okay, so there's this one guy named Paul McGuigan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. Paul McGuigan, a.k.a. Giggsy. Paul McGuigan, Giggsy, right? Giggsy, okay, everyone is in Manchester, right? We're all in Manchester, right? Giggsy was really dedicated to becoming a footballer, and he was really good, and he was trying out for all these fucking teams, and he was like, dude, he was going to be a badass, and he gets fucked. He gets like, one of those like injuries in any fucking sport where the ball goes this way and you go that way, and there's like up and bam and smash on your back. He's done. So, he makes friends with a guy called Paul Arthur. Paul Arthur, a.k.a. Bonehead. And they get together, and Bonehead, that's his name. He's the guy in the pictures. He's fucking bald, right? He plays guitar. He plays rhythm guitar. He's a funny guy. Everyone thinks he's a funny guy. And he's deciding to help Giggsy learn how to play bass. Bonehead, with another friend, they go on this biking trip to Europe. This is 1990, and he quits his job. He's like telling his boss to fuck off, and the boss said, "What are you gonna do?" "I'm gonna fucking tour Europe." "Oh, really?" "Yeah, fuck you." And as he's leaving, as he's leaving with his buddy to go to tour Europe, he runs into Noel Gallagher. Noel Gallagher has like his guitar case in his hand because he's dedicated to rock and roll, right? And this is all local. That's the cool thing about this band. It's all local. It's all in the fucking neighborhood, you know. That's why it's pretty pure. It's pure. It's to the heart. So anyway, Noel was like, what the fuck you doing? Like, it's like those relationships where it's just like the same motherfucker you see every day in the neighborhood. You don't really know his name, but you know his stupid face. Hey, buddy, what's going on? You see the game? Like, that kind of thing. So, he's like, where are you guys fucking going? He's like, oh, we're going to go fucking ride bikes around Europe. He's like, what the fuck? You're crazy. So anyway, they go tour Europe, Bonehead and his buddy, and they come back, and Bonehead buys... When he comes back, he buys this little van. It's a really fucked up van, dude. It's like you need a Scrooge. It's like one of those cars where, it costs like $800 to buy. You need a screwdriver to start it, There's a secret way to open the door. Only you know how. Like a junker like that. He buys his van, and he's teaching Giggsy how to play bass. Giggsy paints it up. Giggsy paints the van all psychedelic style and shit. And the reason why he wants a van is that he's going to do like plastering. He's going to do construction. That's like a business he's going to do. But they get in that van, him and Giggsy and some other friends, and they go see Stone Roses. So that's the music of the time, right? Late 80s, early 90s. But anyway, so they start a band. Giggsy learning how to play bass, and Bonehead's playing guitar. They got a buddy drummer, and Liam Gallagher, neighborhood kid, is going to do vocals, and the band's called Rain, right? Eventually, Noel Gallagher joins the band. Liam Gallagher changes the name of the band to Oasis, and they get a practice space at a hotel. From friends and shit, and they get kicked out because too much weed smoking. In the book, they always say spliff, too much spliff smoking. But in the United States, a spliff is when you take a cigar and you kick out all the tobacco and use the wall and put the weed in. But I guess you English buddies, you guys, spliff is just joints, right? Anyway, too much spliff smoking. And so they get another place to practice. Anyway, this is Oasis. This is 1990, 1991. That's the band right there. Spliff smoking motherfuckers who I believed that they named the band Rain because of that Beatles song Rain. That was the B-side of Paperback Writer. Oh, beautiful song. We're gonna stop right here. That's it. That's the birth. That's the beginning of Oasis. This is exciting. Oasis 2025. They're touring. Not gonna be there. It's gonna be like thousands of dollars to do it, but it's still cool. All that drama, the brother drama. I always love brother bands, I love Oasis, the Meat Puppets. Not a big Van Halen fan, but still I appreciate them. Anyway, if you like this episode, if you like this podcast, give me 5 stars, give me a comment. You can write me, you can text me or email me at jaysrockandrollstories at proton.me. We're going to come back and do Oasis Part 2. Will you be electric too? See you later, baby.